Broadcast live every weekday. But now it is time for another edition of Tech Briefs, where myself and Ken Yeung, the technology editor for Flipboard, joins me here to talk about some of the biggest stories in tech through this last week. I'm now here in my living room. Last week I don't think I was on location, but now it's my living room to Ken's living room, where we're going to talk about this. Ken, hello, sir.
Way to one-up me, Greg. I mean, it's like, hey, but you know what? You don't have the box, all right? You don't have the Ken Plex box. Like, what's going on here, man?
I do not have the Chem Plus box. I do have the globe, so I seem sophisticated. That's why I put that on there. Kind of get a little bit of a worldly vibe. I don't know what it is. It's really just hanging out in my living room. I had to dust it off a lot. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about Tech Briefs. We've got some things to discuss. So since we are clearly online right now, and everybody is at home working and streaming online, one of the big concerns has been, can our internet infrastructure handle it? This has been a big concern that a lot of people have, so much so that we've seen some streaming services for video start to throttle their services, or at least reduce the quality from HD to standard definition. You see that in Europe especially. I think it was YouTube, Amazon, Netflix. They've all been doing that. And now we're starting to see a little bit of that come over here, where we're in North America. We come over to here as well. Ken, what do you know about this? What do you want to talk about when it comes to down to the internet infrastructure?
Right. Yeah. So the internet is like, I think it's vastly different from, back in the day when, with 9/11 and the Great Recession, when you had massive unemployment over there, so around the world. So I think now we're in a time where people are, they're forced to stay home due to largely for coronavirus reasons. So this has actually put a tremendous strain on the internet around the world. The internet has, as we all know, has enabled us to kind of really be close to one another without having to be near each other. We can FaceTime with our parents, with our loved ones, relatives, friends, and family. We can engage in on Twitter and Facebook and everything like that, just to make us feel like we're not alone in all of this. But all of that, it still puts a tremendous strain on the actual infrastructure, and perhaps nothing more nothing more is more intense than in terms of the videos, right? In terms of what we want to do to occupy our time, whether it's watching YouTube videos, streaming all these movies on Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, all these services that are now making it easier for us to stay at home and consume content the way we want to do it. In turn, like as a result, in order for the actual internet to not shut down, a lot of these countries have asked these companies to say, look, can you guys help us out, reduce the quality of the internet so it's more accessible to everyone, so you're not just congesting the traffic. And a lot of these companies have been helping out and saying, look, we're going to now reduce the quality from HD to standard definition. It's for 30 days. And largely it's been in Europe, although it's expanded to Latin America. In the United States, it hasn't been that big of an issue quite yet. Although there are carriers such as AT&T that have said, look, this is putting a tremendous strain on our service, on our offerings. But they continue to offer support, saying like, look, we're still going to be able to maintain the internet connectivity, but at some point they might run into some sort of an issue.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we've probably seen with Netflix went down for a little bit at one point, and you've seen some other things with services too, because everybody's on Zoom right now, and we're on Zoom right now. We're broadcasting via that or connecting via that, and a lot of other people are too. So it's just a lot of video, a lot of strain on there. So we'll have to see where it goes. But as you said, right now, okay, I know YouTube has switched theirs. When you start a YouTube video, it now starts in standard definition automatically. You can switch it to HD, but they're doing little things like that. So we'll have to see where it goes. I mean, worst case, if we have to watch things in standard definition, I think we can probably all survive that. We'll make it through. We will survive if that's what happens, just to maintain the internet. But going on from that, talking about entertainment, it is huge right now, and there's a bunch of different companies doing different things to offer these up, whether it's extended trial services. We talked about that, I believe, last week, where a lot of companies are extending the 30 days to be a lot longer. But we've got some other special things that are going on, like Amazon Prime Video, which is now streaming kids' movies and TV for free. You don't even have to have the service, I don't believe, to even use that. And things are changing so quick. That one, though, I think for a lot of parents, if they have kids at home, probably a really nice bonus right now.
Oh, absolutely. I think, look, these people, I think with students are probably among the hardest hit group because they're not going to be in school for months. Like their academic year is over. So and now the parents that have to deal with how to work from home or trying to figure out their income. They also have to factor in what are they doing, how are they going to occupy their kids' time, instead of just sitting around. So now a lot of these services, Amazon Prime Video, even Comcast, and I believe some HBO, I believe, and some other carriers are offering this type of entertainment for free. So you're not only going to be able to watch things on demand, as for Comcast, they're saying it's in preview. When you're on preview, so those type of things where they're like, hey, for a free week, for a whole entire week, you can watch all the HBO you want for free. That's type of things. So it's like you just use the Xfinity remote to do that, to say, hey, look for free content, and you'll be able to consume a lot of that stuff for free. Comcast, I believe, or I'm sorry, Verizon is the one that's offering it, Stars and Epics, for free, but also a lot of education resources. Now, Amazon Prime Video, you're correct. Like they're offering their kids TV shows and movies for free. You don't need to be an Amazon Prime member to use that, and there's no specific time frame in terms
Right.
of how long it's going to last. I mean, I guess it would be safe to go based on the a 30-day time period at least to see how it goes. But I think this is going to be very helpful for those with younger kids, people that are bored at home and just want to not even consume the news and just want to be to watch something entertaining.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a good addition. And you also have something like Amazon Prime with their new section. It's I want to make sure I get the name of it right, but I think it's Amazon Prime Cinema, which is where they're actually bringing in a bunch of, or Prime Video Cinema, excuse me, Prime Video Cinema, where they're bringing in a bunch of movies that are actually in the theaters that are now available for rental too, because we're seeing that whole shift in entertainment with obviously no theaters open. The box office last week was 0, so that's something that's going to be an interesting development too, to see how that changes, how all that streaming content changes. Going from that though, another thing that everybody's doing right now are figuring out how to connect with people online, and obviously with coworkers and for work meetings, that's something to figure out with Zoom. But there's a lot of other things too. Of if we're all isolated in our homes, the one great advantage of the internet is going back to social media and figuring out different ways to connect with each other. And I've been doing it myself. I've had meetings with friends over Google Hangouts, over Skype, over Zoom, and a couple of the other ones too that we're going to talk about right now. But one thing that Instagram is doing, launching a new feature with this co-watching feature, which I have not tried yet myself with somebody else. But what exactly are the features with it?
So apparently this is a thing. I've not encountered this issue myself, where you can actually do video chat on Instagram and actually watch each other scroll through the app. That's largely what the co-watching is, and maybe that's a thing for people. I kind of get it in terms of like, look, if you're missing your friends from school, you want to have these video chats. Sure, it makes sense to do that. So you can kind of scroll through someone's feed and talk about somebody, so and so's post, or that celebrity that you're following. Like, hey, I can't believe, check out this video from from Kanye, or from Sally from fifth grade, fifth period. I can't believe she posted this. Oh my God. It's all these type of things that you can still maintain some sort of a normal, some sort of normalcy in this time when we're largely isolating and quarantining ourselves. So I kind of overall, like,
Yeah.
just at face value, it kind of seems weird, but there is some interesting opportunities for this, especially for the younger people.
Right. Yeah, you see that with Instagram. You got Google Duo now adding it so where you can have 12 people in one Google Duo meeting, and then you've got other apps like House Party, which is one that came out, and I've tried that one too. Actually, the Digital Trends Live team, I believe we're all on House Party now, so we've been testing those out, which is an interesting one. You can actually play games with other people while you're on that one, and that's an app that's been around for a while, but now is getting a whole bunch of downloads and resurgence because we're all figuring out different ways to connect with each other. And then you have one like Quiplash, and I know we're running out of time, but Ken, really quick, can you tell me what Quiplash is?
So Quiplash, I mean, so as we're talking about all this old, everything old is kind of new again. That's kind of the method in terms of technology. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, House Party's been around for 2016. A lot of these technologies are allowing you to communicate with each other. But there's as you're communicating, it's one thing, but you need to entertain yourself as well. And one thing I kind of I found out, and apparently so Quiplash has been around for a bit of time. I don't know exactly for how long, but it's a very engaging game. It's like a Cards Against Humanity, but online, but kind of like on online in a manner of speaking. You don't actually have to be virtual. You can actually be in the same room, but you need to have a different device. Everyone has to have their different device, and you get tossed these questions, and you answer in however way you want, right? Think of it, if anyone's played Cards Against Humanity, it can be as serious as you want or as ridiculous and profane as you want, right? It's depending on who you're playing with. And then the players vote like on which is the best answer based off of a series of questions, and obviously the points are awarded to whoever wins. But it's not a never ending game from my experience playing it. So each like there's a limited number of rounds for each game, but you can actually create your own game as well. But I mean, in this time when we're self isolating, I think this is a lot of these kind of games that we kind of were flocking to online back in like the early 2000s or even late 1990s. This is the time where we're like, oh, let's play like Family Feud online, right? Or like
Right.
whatever, like Jeopardy or Wheel of whatever, all these type of things, that all these, everyone wants to play games with each other to pass the time. But if you can't do it in person, why don't we do it virtually as well? It's almost like you don't know Jack, that type of game, but virtual.
Yeah.
But of
Okay.
course, it have like yeah. So I mean, there's all these. We're gonna start. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of these type of resurgence. And Facebook maybe Facebook decides to pick up their gaming offering again and kind of makes it more prominent. Who knows, right? Maybe also with Google or YouTube.
Right.
But there's a lot of these old technologies that are going to be having a nice little renaissance.
It's pretty cool trying to see where that's all going. And Ken, as always, I want to say thank you for joining me here and joining us. This is Tech Briefs. For everybody who's watching live, we also have a podcast. So download the podcast. We've got lots of episodes for you to listen to of Tech Briefs wherever you get your podcasts. Ken, thank you so much. Still waiting for my Ken Plus subscription, but I know it'll be coming soon, and we'll have to have a big announcement for that. Ken, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.